Thanks everybody for being here. Disappointed in the outcome of the game. I thought, we'd come back out and compete better than we did. First of all, to start the game offensively, put ourselves behind with some turnovers and obviously self-inflicted wounds, but responded pretty well. And then we come out in the second half, start to put a good drive together. And then defensively, we just ran out of gas. We couldn't get off the field. You got to credit our opponent. I thought Iowa, obviously at the point of attack blocked well. We missed as many tackles as we have all year, which came out of nowhere. We've been tackling pretty well. So a lot of work to do. We'll get right back to work. And the team's got to make a decision. A team that went out and won 5 games and made plays, and we're making plays all over the place, or a team that, the last 2 weeks, quite frankly, is void of making plays. And we got to do a better job as a staff. We got to get their confidence back. We've got to get our guys to tackle better. We got to get our guys, obviously, to block better, get off blocks better, catch the ball better. So a lot of work to do, but a lot of ball in front of us and a tough road test next week. So with that, how about some questions, please?
Hey, Coach, the offensive script was a little bit different this week in terms of Justin Jackson not getting as many rushes as usual. Was that by necessity or by design?
I think it's more the second half being down 3 scores. Yeah, I think if it's a different game, he's got more touches, and we basically had to go into 2-minute mode the minute we went down 3 scores, Fred. So whatever our thought process was and our plan before that really was pretty much irrelevant as we move forward in the game. It's probably what really skewed the numbers.
Coach, what made the running back Wadley so hard to stop from your perspective?
Like I said, it looked like when their receivers came down and cracked our safeties that our corners didn't fit well. And then when we were there, we missed tackles, and he's obviously made plays, so you got to credit him. And they blocked well at the point of attack. It looked like they blocked our 3-technique will linebacker, 6-technique, and boundary safety all day. And if that's going to happen, it's going to be a long day against Iowa, and that's what happened. So got to find solutions. Got to find a way to help those guys. And like I said, we got to make a decision. For 5 weeks, we made a lot of plays, and we got to get the guys back to that point.
Coach, you mentioned you guys responded for a bit in that second quarter. What did you see from Clayton Thorson then in that second quarter and then throughout the game?
Seemed like guys caught the ball for him. It's pretty good for the quarterback when receivers and guys catch the ball. So looked like we got some momentum going there. Looks like some guys made some plays. And, although we want to play with tempo, we have to be a ball control offense. That's the name of the game. We're not, set up right now to go 2 plays and score. We've got to be able to control it. And, obviously we weren't able to do that. We went, 8 out of 19 on 3rd down, so not good enough, especially with the self-inflicted wounds early and then the turnovers that were costly.
Fitz, any initial thoughts on what's changed these last couple games? This was a team that really was getting a lot of things done those first 5.
Yeah. Well, I think a couple things. I think we've played as competitive a schedule as anybody in the country. And I think we've been in some battles and we've played well. And then we've played 2 teams in a row that are playing at a high level, and we didn't execute. And when you play teams that are playing at a high level and don't execute, it compounds the problem. So, it's going to be the continual, challenges as you move forward. As I said, as you're taking steps up the mountain, it gets harder and harder as the air gets thinner and thinner, and that's Big Ten football as you move through October and November. And we've just got to get back on the horse and get back to playing the way that we were. And it starts with us as a staff. We got to get things fixed. And really, to me, it just looked like fundamental things today. It looked like just blocking and getting off blocks, tackling, running through tackles, throwing and catching.
Coach, what is it that you guys will do in the following week to get your guys back, their confidence back after losing 2 big games?
I'm going to yell at them a lot from a motivational standpoint to get them to do what we're asking them to do. Today was just fundamental things, and we work them every single day. And when you don't execute against a team that does execute fundamentally very cleanly, it makes for a long day. So that's what we'll do. We've got a great plan. I believe in the guys in the locker room, but we've got to get them to play more consistently. So that's what we're gonna harp on, is being very demonstrative, and you set high standards and you drive them to be the best they can be. And we got to get better. We got to get better starting on Monday as soon as we get back together.
Coach, you mentioned Clayton and the guys around him. How they played. Is he progressing the way that you want him to in games?
Well, there's some plays that he'd love to have back. I think like any quarterback would, but from a standpoint of taking care of the football, the one turnover early needed to be a different throw. It needed to be either higher or further outside. Then the fumbles, he's got to be able to secure the ball when he was getting sacked and not throwing hot, and then obviously the exchange with him and Justin. So turnovers are killer, and when you give up those type of momentum plays against a good football team, it makes it for a long day.
Do you think you'll find a better way to execute your special teams unit for next week's game?
As far as what specifically?
We had a lot of short punts during the game.
Yeah, we did. I mean, Hunter's got to be more consistent with his drop. It comes down to his drop and his line. He punted the ball 9 times for a 38-yard average. The one doesn't go in the end zone. He's probably over a 40-yard average. I don't think he's as far off as maybe the stats look. It really comes down to drops. But we had one protection error on one play that we had anticipated, and we didn't execute that, which is disappointing. So a lot of work to do.
How much did you know about Wadley before today? He was down there, chart a little bit, and what did you see from him? It was a pretty big day.
Yeah, well, I would say that I've been playing Iowa for a long time, and it just seems like they roll running back after running back after running back, and they understand what their system is. They play well in it, and again, I don't want to diminish the young man's game, but I think we helped him. I really think we helped him out pretty well. But he had a great game. Congratulations to him.
Coach, so second straight year, the game against Iowa kind of went like this. Do you think they have your guys' number in a certain way, or is it just kind of coincidence that you came out flat against them 2 years in a row?
Oh, I don't think we've come out flat in any games, man. I mean, that sounds like a great byline for a story when you get your butt kicked. We haven't come out flat. That's not been the problem. When you don't execute, it is a problem. And yeah, they've played well the last couple of years. I mean, we only get one turnover, I think, in 2 years against them. I mean, that's not gonna be a real good recipe for success. You don't stop the run against a team that wants to be a run-first team. That's going to be a recipe for success for them again. And then, obviously we're not able to get our run game going and have balance, which ends up being a recipe for success for them again. So, you can't play the way we did against a very well-coached, very disciplined, a very fundamentally sound football team and expect to be successful. And that's what we haven't done the last couple of years. So, they make it tough on you when you get behind. I mean, they do a good job. So, credit Iowa. Congratulations to them, and we'll move on and find a way to get better next week.
I know you don't ever like to lose, and especially at home. The fact that it's homecoming and
Yep.
an emotional
Yep.
weekend for you, probably a reunion. Does that sort of compound the feelings?
Yeah, you're right. No, I despise losing with a passion. So I'll just leave it at that. How does that sound? I'll leave it at that.